I changed out the one that we chose last time. Number 4 is now a new thing.
All right, so now it's actually working and the stream is live, which is weird.
All right, we're live right now. Okay.
Hello, America.
What up?
What if it's not just in America? Okay.
What's up, world?
There we go, much better.
Welcome to the live beat challenge show. 3 beats later. We're about to play some music for you. We're just going through some audio issues right now, fixing that up. Staying hydrated. Everybody stay hydrated.
Fax machine.
There we go. I got some Vietnamese coffee over here too. Speaking of pho.
Oh, I was drinking Dominican coffee this morning.
Oh,
Vietnamese.
Nice. Emery was just talking about having pho for the first time.
Oh yeah, that stuff is great.
Yeah, one of these times I have to tell you guys about the trip I took to Southeast Asia.
Okay.
The coffee scene in Vietnam is ridiculous.
It's next level.
It is crazy.
All right, I'm back, y'all.
Beats and beats and beats and beats. Beats, beats, beats and beats. About to play some beats.
People are gonna be like, yo, what are these dudes doing?
It's gonna be like, you have 0 watchers this whole time.
Still have audio issues?
No, we're good. I can hear you.
Oh, I thought you were gonna play the thing.
Oh yeah. Are we good? We're going? We're rolling?
Oh, we're good. We're live. We're on there.
Oh damn. All right, we're live. Hang on. I'm gonna throw some music up really quick.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Oh, we are doing it live right now. Here we go.
Don't even put no music up. Just let's go right in.
Okay, then let me stop that.
Yeah, we're already in here.
All right. Welcome everybody. If you're watching, we should be live right now. So this is a live broadcast, but we're also going to make this available.
Okay. You're not showing up.
Okay.
So
you know why?
Talk, the other one's showing.
There we go. Hey, there I am. Now it's just my head. Okay. Let me pull down. All right. Here we go. Now we're going. Now we're rolling. All the technical difficulties are gone. I am a full head on one screen and I'm a smaller head on the other. This is 3 beats later. This is the weekly beat making challenge show. So what we do is every week we get together, we choose a new challenge, and we challenge each other, the 3 hosts here, to make music based upon that specific theme. So this week it's episode 3, and the challenge was to create a beat, create some music that is in regular time for part of the track. And then what we do is we transition over to a halftime break within that song. So this is episode 3. We had some other shows. Feel free to go back and watch those. And show 1, we had a challenge that was to take Cambodian music, sample it, make some hip hop. Week 2, the challenge was to sample Whitney Houston. And here we are with week 3. So the way that the show works is, first we go through the music, everybody shows their beat off, and then we play the music and we give it a breakdown in terms of what it took to make that beat. So we'll show the sampling, we'll show the methods that were used. So there's a little bit of a tutorial. You get an in-depth look at what it was to make that specific beat. After we go through sharing the beats, then there's a little bit of critiquing, judging, and some ribbing if your beat was trash. And then what we do is we kind of give each other a grade. Someone is crowned the king of that week. And then what we'll do is we'll choose the challenge for the next week. So we want people to listen and follow, subscribe, watch us, and then follow us on social. But we also want to showcase music from the people who are watching the show. So if you want to get involved and make a beat with us or make some music with us, just join in on the challenge and then send in your music. And what we'll do is we'll showcase your music on the show. So as of right now, we're just going to jump right into it. I have a couple announcements to make. So just some housekeeping up front. Alex or Piso, he's been using some controllers and he's been named the knob master. Okay. But we have a new knob master over here with this new piece of technology I got, which you can't see right now because it's all black and my background is black. But I got the Mini Lab by Arturia. So it's a MIDI controller and it has 16 knobs. Okay. So I challenge Alex or Education to get more knobs. I'm now the knob master. Okay. Another thing, more housekeeping. So we put up a couple of shows already, and we're using samples. So when you watch some of our older videos, there might be sections within the video that might be muted or clipped out. That's because the samples that we're using are triggering a copyright issue with YouTube, and you know how that is with YouTube. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go live, so you get to hear the samples live. But in the recorded version that you'll be able to look at later, some of the videos might just be muted, or they might be cut out where we have that specific sample. So of the videos, you'll see, I think one of Education's has that little bit taken out in the Whitney Houston video. And then also Piso, your video with the Cambodian music, Cambodian Sasuke, that also has a little bit of a mute as well. And also your Whitney Houston video. So with that said, none of my videos were muted or clipped, which makes me the flip master. See how that is? Oh, I love looking at everybody. I respond to my self-proclaimed wins over here. Knob master, flip master.
Damn
You
that.
call me.
Damn that.
All right, so this is what we're doing this week. I'm gonna go first. All right, so the challenge was make a beat, regular tempo, okay, whatever that BPM is. It could range from whatever sounds good, and then we're gonna flip it mid beat. You could use this as like an outro, or you could use this as like a bridge or a breakdown, or you could flip that completely and have the halftime feel come first. But the rhythm is going to change. Instead of hearing the snare usually on like a 2 and a 4, the snare is going to come later. It's going to hit on the third beat, which is what you hear in a lot of trap music. You hear that in a lot of Run the Jewels. I think it's become a little bit more mainstream when you hear this type of feel. So when you listen to it, it's gonna kind of sound natural to you. I will say that I had a really hard time. I didn't have a lot of time this week, so this is my excuses section. It was a really tough week for me, but I have something that's kind of listenable. So we're gonna jump into it. I'm gonna share my screen really quick, and we're going with my video. Make sure everybody mutes on their end too. Screen. All right, so I'm gonna jump in. I'm using an iPad to make music, and I'm using an app called Beatmaker 3. If you don't know about it, it's amazing. It's an audio workstation, digital audio workstation, and it does everything. It has built-in pads like this, so you kind of have that MPC feel, but then you are also able to record music straight into it. You can pretty much do anything that all the other DAWs do. There are some small limitations, but it packs a punch. It's very powerful. Okay, so here we go. Here's my beat. So what I'm gonna do is, me, I'm going to record some sort of vocals no matter what. I like to train myself to try to build hooks, and that's what you're gonna get with this song again today. I am not a singer, but I try to at least hit the notes where I can. So please, when you hear me sing, just imagine someone better singing is actually singing those hooks. All right. I'm gonna let the beat play through on the regular feel first. It's gonna hit the halftime feel, and then I'm gonna have it loop back around to the regular feel for a little bit, and then I'm gonna break it down for you. So here is my halftime break beat. Here we go.
We gon' bring it back. If you can't find a seat, mama gon' save a plate. Everybody gonna eat. We gonna find a way. Ah, wait. Ah, wait.
All right. So that's the beat. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. This was pretty tough week, but I ended up relying on some sampling. So I sampled an Italian musician who made tons of music, and he made tons of music for like Italian movies. And I forget the guy's full name. I'm going to put it in the description after the video posts, but it's Piero, Piero something. If someone else could look up this dude's name while I'm talking and shove it in later. This guy is amazing. So I think he's probably been sampled a bunch. One of his songs was on the Ocean's 12 soundtrack. And I always love that soundtrack because it was just kind of like little cuts of music, like little 16 bar beats and stuff like that. So one of his songs is pretty amazing. And I use that as the main sample. And I'm going to play that sample really, really quick. But I did some time shifting to make this fit within the beat. So here is the song, just not really cut up. Here we go. Okay, so a couple things there. One is I am in love with anything that has the harp within it. One of my favorite beats is Nas's Like, right? So that's produced by DJ Premier. And when you listen to that beat, there's like this random harp that's kind of just on a regular loop. And that is always kind of like mesmerizing to me. So I always try to find a way to use harp wherever I can, which is kind of hard. And in this sample, there is harp in the background. So what I did was I stretched this to fit within the BPM of 86 BPM. So here is the sample that I'm using. So you can hear this is pitched up. I believe I'm up an octave from the regular pitch. So when you time stretch and you go up an octave, time stretching is still going to keep it within the right tune. So it's basically just fitting it within the time, but making it so it's still staying within the key, right? So that was pretty important. That was the main loop that I used. And then when you listen to that song, what's happening in the song is he's not quantized at all, right? This is music recorded in like the 70s or the late 60s. And the feel actually goes kind of like in time. It's like almost like a free tempo, right? They're kind of playing do 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 do. So you kind of feel in that song what's happening with especially the guitar players. He's kind of speeding up and slowing down throughout this song. And it gives it that like weird wavy kind of thing going on. So when I made this beat, I actually had to make sure that the drums were not quantized. So I actually had to play it out on the pads. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna solo the drums with the sample really quick, just so you could hear how it's not snapped to a grid. There's definitely throughout the song, all the percussion that was added, everything else is kind of just, you could hear that the kick is coming in a little too quick, or it's a little too late here and there. But after all the elements are added, then what's going to happen is it's going to kind of feel a little more human, right? So I'll play that together. Okay, I love beats that aren't quantized. That's, you know, definitely kind of a popular thing. I would say, you know, the last 15 years of hip hop music is stressing non-quantized beats. So there's a couple things. Most of the beat is not quantized, but then I added another hat and I actually snapped another hat to the grid, which is really cool because you get this interplay where the hat is kind of not quantized and then quantized feel. It's kind of like brushing up against each other. Now, right away, another cool thing about 3 Beats Later is that we're all learning from each other, right? So I actually took a method that education was teaching me about importing MIDI. Okay, so I actually took the beat that I wrote, saved it as MIDI, and then imported it into another bank. And I'll show you. So there's basically another complete drum set here. Okay. These are the drums. They have a lot of effects on them, right? So I took the same drum beat that I just created with one drum bank, saved it as MIDI, and then put it in and imported it into another drum bank. So what's happening is you're getting the beat being played on 2 different sets of drums. And I took the bank number 2 and dropped the level a lot. So what you're getting is the main beat and then some of this leftover weird stuff where the toms are being played where I originally played a hi-hat or I originally played a snare from the other bank. So I'll show you what that looks like really quick. I'm going to solo both of these together. So you could hear just the drums are kind of sounding a little, there's that echo from that second drum bank. So nothing is different happening. The same drum line is being played. It's just being played on 2 different drum sets. And the second drum set is lowered. And that's something that I was kind of playing around with since we talked from our last couple shows, and education was using layers where he's adding a snare, then he's adding kind of like a little shaker in that snare. So you're getting like, it's not just kick, hi-hat, snare, you're getting other things layered into each thing. Now, one of the coolest things that happened to me recently was I purchased a cabasa, which is this guy right here. Okay, it's an African instrument, and you hear it in Brazilian and Latin jazz as well. So I recorded this, and right away you might recognize, I think it reminds me of like a couple, maybe some Far Side music. I think they use the cabasa. I'll play it. So that gives you some rhythm, right? It gives you some, it's it's like a train chugging along, and it's a little bit of like, you feel that movement. Now you kind of are ready to move a little bit, right? So the kabasa adds that. The bass, I recorded live bass on this track, and I'll play the live bass just with the drums again, so you get to hear the bass line. I love this bass line. With bass lines, less is more, and this really gives the complete movement of the song. So here we go. Okay, so I love that feel. That's kind of like, I would call that your late 90s feel, just kind of like more or less boom bap with an extra little bit of rhythm in there. Okay. After that, now we're entering the world of what I love to do, which is create hooks, create melody lines, sing what you hear in your head. I am the #1 advocate for people who want to start writing hooks more and more. Please do that. You hear it in your head, record it on a mic. You know, maybe you could use it, maybe you could throw it away, maybe you could play it on a different instrument. But here, what you'll hear is a couple different vocal things that are going on. And I'm just going to play the drums, the bass, and the vocal line that you hear in the beginning of the song. So the whole idea was just to kind of pepper in some vocals. Here you go.
La 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 la.
Okay, so that gives you kind of, it plays off of the sample. I didn't play the sample there, but it's kind of like mysterious sounding, kind of weird. And then I created a chorus. The chorus is funny. Again, please, I am not a singer, so don't tear me apart, but I created a hook. And I gotta give a shout out to my wife, because we were talking about lyrics here. She kind of inspired me to write something in this vein. And it's really just about people sitting down to have food. So the end of the hook is just repeating kind of like something that would be a secondary hook. So it's almost like 2 hooks in here. I'm gonna play them both. Here we go.
We gon' bring, we gon' make the mic. Somebody pass the beat. We gon' bring it back. If you can't find a seat, Mama gon' save a plate. Everybody gonna eat. We're gonna find a way.
Okay, wait, we're gonna find a way. Wait. All right, now we get to the halftime feel. Halftime feel is pretty straightforward, but the key is to remember that we are going to go from this chugging along beat at 86 BPM to having the snare hit later. It's gonna hit on the 3rd beat, and it's gonna sound a little bit more like you're entering like the trap world in a way, right? I didn't have a lot of time to work on this part of the song. I did qualify the challenge for the challenge, but I'm gonna sample just the 2 things. So there is another sample I'm using, and it's just harp, and that is actually another song from that Italian musician, which I loved. So I took that and just looped it over. There's some time stretching to make this fit within the specific range. So I will play it right from that second halftime break. So that's the loop, and it's just on the harp, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, right? So we're just looping that, playing the drums. I am kind of just adding some hi-hat rolls in there to make it interesting. I added the kabasa again, but I did the kabasa in a different way, which was just accenting on the every 8th beat. So here we go. So I'm thinking about it like a hi-hat, right? When you're playing the drums right here, every quarter note, I'm sorry. So it's I love that feeling in drums when you hear a drummer that has the hi-hat kind of just halfway open, which is a so we're not hitting that first snare on the 2, we're hitting the snare on the 3. Okay, that's the whole idea behind this breakdown. Then what I did was I added bass, guitar, and a little bit of the vocals. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna play the guitar and I'm gonna play the bass together. The bass, I felt like an 808 should be here. So when I go and have more time with the song, I'm gonna mimic the bass line that I played on the bass and just put some 808. So it's gonna be really bassy and just The guitar, I mimicked the earlier line I sang, which was way. You'll hear it kind of playing on the guitar. So let's play that all together. Okay, and the bass is, I was clipping, you could see even in the audio there, like when I hit the low, boom, that was clipping, so that I need to re-record that. So bear with me, sorry, I didn't have enough time. The other thing was just to take the portion from the beginning part of the song where I go la 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 la, and make that almost stretch that a little bit out and sing that in a different way. So I'll just show you what I sang there so you could hear that. So you could even, you could think of that as an outro, right? You have the whole song going, and then at the very end, the last 20 seconds of the song, you hit this halftime feel outro, and that fades out. Or you can throw it in the middle of your song as a bridge, do something different in the middle of your song, or use it as an intro, whatever. The whole idea of this was to get us more comfortable playing around with regular time beats and then halftime beats. So what I'm going to do here at the end, that's most of my beat. I'm going to open it up to the fellows on the stream and see if you guys had any questions, or if you guys wanted to look at anything else that I could break down a little bit further for you.
Bravo, Corey. Very, very, very fun beat. This was a very difficult challenge. And I think we're all going to express a lot of difficulty with this. And even with the difficulty, you managed to come up with something really cool sounding. I really like the vocal elements, surprisingly enough. I like the hook. I didn't really know that there was a sample in there. I think your bass lines especially, they always blend so well with whatever you sample. So it buried the sample in a way that even YouTube can't even. But yeah, no, it was really, really dope. Yeah, man, I honestly, like, I didn't really have a lot of problems with the transition. Like the switch here didn't feel forced. It felt natural. It didn't it wasn't a huge shift in the dynamic of the beat. So you should give yourself more credit for that.
All right. Yeah, I was thinking about that. It's like if I had a little more time, I would have like actually built like a 1-bar type of like something happening, take out the drums and have something happen, ta 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 ta, boom 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 boom, and then bring you into the halftime feel a little bit more gracefully. But obviously there's a time constraint this week. Cool. E, anything I should look at any more on this beat, or are we good? We're gonna go on the next beat.
I mean, so for me, I feel like you did a really good job of expressing all of the elements of the beat. My biggest question or concern, I would say, is basically, where in the hell did you find that sample? Because when I heard it, my brain instantly was like, is this some Willy Wonka stuff, man? Like, yo, where did he get this sample from? Because the range and the the level in which that sample is. So as a producer, you look for samples that are like extremely convoluted or extremely basic. Like it's either super busy and melodic, or it's super simple and you can kind of like find somewhere to get in there, or it's just super busy and it just sounds like heaven. And that sample sounds like heaven. To me, it's one of those samples that just has this like, wow feel to it. And I think that what was amazing about the sample to me was that it wasn't overly used. Like you didn't just like, you know, like some people where the sample is just like I can't even put the words. I can't put the words. All I want to say is kudos to you, super monkey flex. Okay, that was a super monkey flex on that beat. That's my new term. So if anybody show off like that on a beat, it's called a super monkey flex. Going forward, it's a super monkey flex.
All right.
So you super monkey flex on that beat. So cool.
Nice. Yo, and you know, I feel almost like I'm giving up a secret, but this dude, this Italian musician, we'll put it out on our accounts, but he has so much music. There's so much music out there, and every one of his albums and every one of his songs, you can listen to it. And I just like listening to all, I'm like, I just want to sample everything. So I just stumbled upon one song that's like very, very dramatic sounding. And there's 2 chords, they're going back and forth. So it is kind of, you know, you're just hitting like 1 chord and then you're going down a half step. So you kind of get that wave back and forth, which if you don't add enough elements, that going back from one chord to the next chord could get very, very boring. So, you know, I tried to add as much as I could to kind of like get your brain away from thinking about like do 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 and then do 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 do, because it could just be like over and over and over. So that's how I made this beat this week. That was my halftime break. So all right, we're gonna kick it over to Piso for the next joint. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Give me 1 second to do that. So hopefully he's ready. I saw him.
Word, yeah, I'm ready. Nice, very nice, Corey. Thank you for all of that. Lots and lots of good stuff happening. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just say, like everyone I'm sure is gonna say, that this is probably our most challenging. At least for me, it was the most challenging test that we've faced thus far. But you know, not one to back up for from a challenge. And the point of this, well, one of the points of this is for us to become better producers and to learn more. So I actually had a problem with like BPM is what my biggest concern. You know, being on the 2 and the 4 and versus the 3, changing to a 3/4 time or whatnot was actually not the hardest thing. I think I tried to put a sample that worked on both, and that was my biggest challenge. So hopefully you guys can dig it, and here we go. I'm gonna stand up and do my DJ thing that you guys hate. The knob master is in the building, as usual. All right, here we go. All right. So there was a lot that I did there that was very difficult. As you can see, I had a little bit of trouble with getting the sample to fit exactly where I wanted it to go. So it was very challenging, but ultimately the trick was just to master the drum pattern, which was the 2 and a 4. So I started off with this pattern. And then we switched to the 3/4 time. And I just put a trap hi-hat in there just to make it sound a little bit more. Well, let's talk about the sample real quick. It's from an artist named Kamasi Washington. And I've sampled him a few times. His music is just lush with a lot of different samples. And this one is from a song called Fist of Fury. As you can see, this song is just filled with lush jazz. I actually had a really difficult time finding the perfect spot that I wanted to sample. So that was interesting, but I was able to eventually get it to sync with the 2/4 drum pattern in a way that I like. Switching to 3/4 was a bit of a challenge, so I found another sample. It kind of ironically felt like another Black Lives Matter type deal. And this guy just chanting over and over again, "We'll take our retribution," and it's actually from the same song. So ironically, I said a different part of it. So yeah, that's about it. And switching over to the other part, I used my controller to try to cascade to the different part of the beat. And yeah, this one was a bit difficult, but I did my best. So I'm gonna open the floor to my compadres and hear what you guys have to say.
All right, here I am. All right. Yo. So what I liked was the like quick piano run in that first part. What can you play that again? Just that first part of your song with the doodle.
What was that again for?
Yeah. So that last part, that like 2 bar or whatever run is pretty sick. Yeah, I like that a lot. That was definitely, me, anything with a lot of notes in it is going to be something that I like. that was cool. So you,
Yeah,
so the challenge of like, go ahead, education, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying that the use of that sample, the even using that sample period was just kind of like, where did you get that from? What made you pick that sample? And typically you don't come with like beats that are like a typical beat pattern. But I feel like when you did that on this one, it gave you so much range to play around. I think that is kind of what made this beat dope to me, is that typically P doesn't do that. Like P-So doesn't really have beats that fit into a boom bap kind of category. And I think that's what sets you aside. But on this particular situation, you took it to the basics of like beat making and hip hop, and kept the beat that was simpler, so your play around was more focused on. And to me, I feel like that is what made the beat for me, because it lets you kind of shine as the knob master and kind of like flip your beat a lot more. And the beat and the sample wasn't conflicting with each other. I like that a lot.
What and P-So, what did you come up again? I think we were all throughout. So for everyone watching, we have the beat challenges, and through midweek we're kind of texting each other. And this week was kind of like oh crap, like no one felt confident at all, just because it was a little bit outside of the norm to do a flip in mid beat to a halftime feel. So what did you come up against? Like, P-So, what did you find was the hardest part about making that flip to halftime?
The hardest part to me was just making it sound cohesive. Like,
Yeah.
It was just difficult to make the halftime part, congeal with the earlier part of the beat. And especially since I was using a sample that I had already like locked to the first part of the beat, it was difficult to transition into the other part.
Yeah.
I also didn't spend enough time with the sample. Like, I probably would have sampled something different and made it a little bit more connect a little bit better, but I kind of ran out of time, so
yeah,
I didn't really get as much time as I wanted to. But the main, to answer your question, is it was just making the halftime part match the other part of the beat.
Yeah, I think when you go to halftime, one of the biggest things is like your brain is already built on this groove for the regular time feel, and then you switch to halftime, and the listener is kind of like, okay, where is the backbeat? Like, where is my accent on 2 and 4? It's gone, right? So you basically shift that accent later on the third beat. And one of the things that I found that was kind of helping me in my when I did my challenge was like removing some of the kick drum away, so that way you kind of feel like you hit a wall where you're like going boom, and then like that's the only way that I was able to kind of like, it had to be like so dramatic that it'll like, your brain would the listener would remember like, oh wait, something different is happening. So yeah, I had a lot of struggle with that too.
Thanks.
But altogether, I liked it. I liked the "We'll Take Our Retribution" sample.
Thanks. Yeah, I want to do just a little bit more, make it a little bit more, add a few more variables, mix it up a little more. Maybe I'll work on it some more, develop it into something that's actually.
Yeah, you know what? And actually, that brings a good point. Is what we're going to be doing is taking all of the beat challenges, the music that we're making for the beat challenges. We're going to select some of the best ones, and we're going to kind of make a playlist. So anyone who's listening, if you want to, listen to the music after the fact, you could either watch the breakdown videos that we make, or these playlists are going to come out, so you can kind of hear it all together. You'll hear like 1 week's theme of music, another week's theme of music, another week's theme of music. So you can kind of listen to this music later on at work or whenever you're listening to music. So definitely, P-So, spend some time on it, like tweak it out, and then let's throw it on one of these mixes.
Word. And with that, I think I'll turn the floor over to E. If he's
all right. If he's ready. I saw him doing some tweaking.
I feel like he's tweaking. was just giving E a few more seconds.
Yeah. I saw him messing
I don't really
with.
think that E needed any more seconds. I think that E was more
Okay.
so just trying to figure out somewhere to super monkey flex.
See,
Yeah, I was trying to find somewhere to super monkey flex.
next episode, E goes first. It's been decided.
I'm 100% down with that. Well, I'm going to do that. So, give me 1 second here. Gotta do some top secret stuff.
AKA cheating. Keep going.
Not at all. Not at all. I just don't want. I want y'all to guess the sample, so I have to hide the names.
So it's interesting. We all sampled this week. I didn't know. I was gonna go build from the ground up with no sample, but I fell into a couple of this guy's songs, and I found the name of the dude that I was talking about actually.
Yeah, what's his name?
His name is Piero, Piero, Piero Umiliani. Piero,
I know him. Yeah, I used to go to school with him. All right, so I'm going to play my beat, and luckily for you guys, I did not find a place where I could super monkey flex. So I'm going to play the beat, and I'm going to break it down right after. So here it is. Oh, one more thing. Let me just there we go. Yeah. All right, let me know if you guys can hear this. All right, so
Why you stop it?
let it go for like a minute and a half, but I can let it go longer if you'd like. So I'm about to break down this beat. So here's how I made this beat. So in this challenge that we had, I don't want to say that it was difficult. I want to say that it was something that was unfamiliar as far as the time shifting and things like that. That's something that I've never really done. And so I made like 6 beats that I just was like, I love the beats, but when it came to the switch part, Corey had gave me some advice as far as the tempo for the beats and things like that. And I was finding that the beats that I was creating had a strange feel when it got time for the halftime feel of the beat. And so one of them I wanted to cheat and just kind of go like not even fully halftime, maybe like 3/4 of the way, but it still didn't give the energy that I wanted. So on this beat, I felt that I was able to provide that feel. So the first thing I started out with was just a sample because I wanted to make this sample. I had a really, really interesting desire to use this sample. So for the sample that I used originally, I'll play it and we will get into that part right now. So here's my top secret sample. So we are using so anybody who can't tell what that is, I will play it here. So when I heard that, I'm like, you know what? I really want to chop it. I want to do all types of stuff and flip it. But when I heard that part, it was just like, you know what? You don't have to. That speaks. That creates its own energy. So I just left it as is. So I left it at that part there. So that came out something like this. So how I was able to do this challenge in a really cool way, and shout out to the producers Playground, a little group share file that I created for everybody on the team. And it has a bunch of tools in it. But one of the tools that I used to make this beat, especially the halftime feel, was this one here. And it is called slow-mo. So I found a slow-mo VST that allows me to click a button and it instantly takes your beat into halftime. Now, what you can do with that, you can pick how long you want it to go, or you can pick how much of the beat you want it to actually incorporate into the halftime feel. So it has a dry wet knob here. And so you can go halftime, you can go all of it, you can pick just a little bit of it, and it sounds a little bit like this if you use it that way. So I use that because I was not familiar with changing the timestamp on my beat and the tempo on my beat midway through. So with me being newer to Ableton, and when I looked up halftime, I was able to figure out, okay, this is a cool tool that people do use to instantly change and shift that down. So this is called slow-mo. And it's VST that is available. So I would definitely recommend getting that if that's something you're interested in. It is by Initial. So that was the cheat in my beat, so to speak. I am big on VSTs. I love VSTs. I love making sure that, you know, I'm utilizing the beat to the max, making sure that I'm incorporating all of the essentials that I can. So that was where the beat started at. So here we have just a little loop, just a hi-hat loop. We have here that I loved it, and I loved the way that they rolled over the beat. So I just kept it simple there. What I loved the most about it, though, was how it sounded over the sample when it got to the part where it went to double time or halftime. So this is where we live here. So I'll play that. So it kind of has a different flow to it when you actually use the slow-mo on it. So now I'll do that again. I'll isolate it and just play that again. So in Ableton, it has something really dope where you can automate. So you can automate how much of the slow-mo is on there, and you can bring it down as you get back into your beat. So I thought that was pretty dope to utilize on this particular beat because it made a lot of sense and it sounded really dope to me. Moving forward, we just went to a simple beat pattern, just something to kind of keep it fresh. And so we and again, I wanted to make sure I had something that sounded great with the slow-mo. So again, it creates its own feel, creates its own vibe and energy. And I loved it. I just grabbed a little bit of an accent. I love to play the keys, but on this one, I really didn't feel a need to overdo it with the melodies. Typically, I go over and above with the melody, but on this one, I just felt that just add a little bit of accent would have been enough. So. Now, I do use Scalar a lot. Scalar, the VST, that is incredible. It helps producers who have any issue finding the note, finding the range, the scale. Excuse me. It helps you with that process. So it eliminates any guesswork. But for me, because I know kind of music theory, I know how to play, I just really love this soft piano. I told you guys about this before. Scalar has this soft piano that just sounds so incredible. So when you go to Scalar 2, when you have this soft piano, it just allows you to do so much stuff and it has such a great sound to it. So it sounds dope to me. It has the hammer from the keys, so it keeps you real authentic with the piano sound, but it also fades it back enough to where it doesn't pronounce the piano too loud. So for me, I always go right to the soft piano in Scalar 2. Sometimes I actually use the features of Scalar 2, but I rarely do. I typically just use the sound. And then, so from there, I added a little sample accent throughout the beat, just a little. And that's pretty much it. I wanted to break it down and do something interesting with this beat, but it was so full to me that I really didn't feel the need to do so. So this is how I made this beat, and I'm definitely glad you checked it out. So I'm gonna open it up to the guys, see if they have any other questions for me. I'm pretty sure they're gonna dissect this beat.
Get ready.
I'm already ready. I know you were coming.
Get ready for dissection. All right. I love this beat. I mean, this is like Sextown, USA. So a couple of things. This is so much fun, man. I have so much fun doing this. And I gotta say that a couple of things. One would be the scalar with the soft keys. That's your go-to, man. And those keys sound so nice. It almost like takes away some of the attack. So it's reducing the attack so you don't hear the punch of the hammer down on the string right away. And then it's using like really, really good reverb. So like all of those keys just kind of like, they're soft and they also blend within the rest of the song. I really got to get on your hi-hat game. because your hi-hat game is insane. And I don't know how I can do that. What is the sample of the hat? Did you use that other because I know that you use that other VST for hi-hats. Did you use that other VST for hi-hats this time?
No. So to be honest with you, so here's where I'm not very strong. When it comes to melody, chord progression, things like that, I'm good there. When it comes to actual beat, creating a beat, making a beat, the actual boom bap of a track, I used to struggle with that.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I went ahead and started just looking to see what other producers were doing. And so for me, I have a lot of sounds. But when I go to sounds, I go to, it's called Cymatics. And Cymatics has a lot of hi-hat loops.
Okay.
And so for me, what I do is I kind of see what they have available. And typically because it's just an accent on my beat, I don't feel bad for using a loop.
Right. Yeah. Well,
because it's just the accent on the beat. So sometimes people use loops and it's cool. But for me personally, I like to play my beats out, unless it's a sample. But I don't mind grabbing the hi-hat and letting the hi-hat rip.
Yeah. I think that's kind of like a producer debate, right? It's an ongoing debate, like to use loops, to not use loops. From my point of view, like I think there's a way to use them both ways. If you're going to use a loop, you have to know what's going to sound good and how to incorporate it in the song, right?
Right.
It's you can't just plug in a loop and expect that it's going to like make your song. And then another one, and then on the other end, still having some sort of like understanding upon, if you were not going to use a loop, how to build that rhythm in some way. Knowing both sides of the puzzle is kind of where it's at for me, because I think that debate is kind of like, it's an old debate, like, oh, you use loops, you don't use loops. I don't think it waters anything down really. And actually that hi-hat sample is really nice. So that hi-hat sample is kind of like using a lot of trills and rolls and stuff like that. So, and the sample that's like, my hi-hat selection is where I need help, because I'm usually sticking with one hi-hat, and then I'll take that same hi-hat and then copy it and then detune it a little bit. So you get a little bit of difference in hi-hat 1 and hi-hat 2. And it sounds a little more natural. Like a real drummer is going to have different dynamics when they hit a hat. But some music, and especially R&B, like this, totally has that sexy R&B feel. They're not using your standard hi-hat. They're not going to pick the most natural sounding hi-hat. This doesn't sound like a natural hi-hat. It sounds like something's going on there with that hat, and it sounds cool though. That's what I love about that sample that you used and how you put that in the song.
Definitely appreciate that.
So then I see, this is a challenge. So I gotta go in on you a little bit here.
Go in, man. Go in.
So this whole beat was written. This is a whole halftime feel beat. You know what I mean? Your BPM is at 120. So the snare is hitting on the third beat, and that's completely a halftime feel beat. That whole beat is halftime feel. But I see what you did when you changed the sample by using that plugin, the slow-mo plugin that you're using. So although I would have loved to have like a complete regular time.
So just to since this is a challenge, I'm going to defend myself here.
Okay.
So the sample is halftime.
Okay.
But it's not, the beat isn't halftime all the way through. It's only halftime when the slow-mo hits. So
okay.
In my defense, I will say that I take that point back from you because the whole beat is not in halftime. The sample is not in its original pitch, which creates a halftime feel, but there's no beat on the sample to create a halftime.
Okay. I take that point. I'll put it back at you.
You see him price gouging me already?
Okay. We can take this debate offline. I will just say that there's some funny stuff going on with this BPM.
Shady stuff going on. Listen, you knob masters. I don't have knobs, all right? I'm just over here, just a guy trying to make it.
Piso.
Yeah, so I also think this beat is fire. I love the pocket that you find. I didn't even know the BPM was 120. It definitely felt something different, but I guess that's how the halftime felt in the halftime beat.
Yeah, because it's in halftime. It's a halftime beat.
I want to say that your use of the slow-mo app, which I actually did get a chance to download and install, so I haven't used it yet, but I have it. So thank you for sharing that at Producer's Playground. The use of that was very creative and allowed you, in my opinion, to get your halftime feel in a very natural way. So that was cool because it felt like I could see in the songwriting aspect of that beat, someone doing something very interesting with that aspect of the track. I like the low, like slow-mo sample. What song was that again?
That was Freaking You by Jodeci.
Okay,
This
right.
is the part
The
where
Jodeci
you
sample.
mute it.
The Jodeci sample was totally unexpected and just a good way to give like a spine to the entire track and a kind of vibe, a mood. I also, like Corey, appreciated the hi-hat placement. Did you use that beat? I forget the name of it, the VST that randomizes the drums. No, you didn't use that. Okay, you broke that.
No.
All right, cool. Yeah, it was.
On this one, I only
dope.
used only VST that I used on this one was I used obviously slow mo, and I used Scalar 2 for the soft piano.
Yeah. So with all that being said, yeah, are we doing flowers yet or no?
That's the next section.
Yeah.
Are we there?
Flowers.
Are we ready
I love
for
how
that?
P calls them flowers.
Or monkey points, or what are we calling
Super monkey flex points.
monkey
No,
flower.
I like
flex?
flowers. I like flowers.
Monkey flex flowers.
I just like mad props points. MPPs.
MPPs. We do MPPs.
Word, mad props.
Now,
yeah,
would you give flowers to multiple people? Is that cross pollination?
Oh boy.
Just saying.
We got jokes.
Right.
We got jokes.
Yeah.
Jokes.
So with all that being said, I think I'm gonna give my monkey flowers to E because that I had fun with that beat and I liked it a lot. And I feel bad not giving flowers 2 weeks in a row to Corey, but it's really nothing personal because it just happens to be the last 2 weeks. But I really appreciated Corey's vocal, or I guess his wife's song writes for him now. So Corey has a ghostwriter now. I know, right?
Yeah, Corey doesn't get flowers. His wife gets the flowers.
Corey has a ghostwriter. But I just I dug E's beat just a little bit more. Even though I love what Corey did as a song as always, and I always loved Corey's bass. The bass is always impressive.
Corey's gonna kill me.
Yeah. So that's it for me, guys.
Okay. I gotta. We can't let this stand. This cannot stand. This is not happening.
What exactly is happening, sir?
E should be disqualified. That was not a halftime flip. Okay.
That's not true. That is not true.
We need justice in this beat challenge.
Wow.
So all right. So let's go back to the beat. Let's go back to the exhibit A.
So,
all right.
I want to hear in the same BPM. I want to hear snare on the 2 and 4, and then I want to hear the whole beat has the snare on the 3. The whole beat is in halftime, in my opinion.
I don't agree. I don't agree, sir. But okay, we'll rule you out.
I would say that Piso's beat had the flip. You could hear the feel change. Something happened. He had section 1, section 2.
Okay, so let's play it. Let's play it through.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let me mute this too, so you don't even hear this right here, because this is at it. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Wait a minute. So you see this line right here with this automation, right? This is where it's supposed to switch over to halftime. So I'm gonna do it for you so you hear how the beat.
Okay. Okay.
There was lots of halftime
This is
in the beat.
all right. What is it called when you object to something?
Contest? Object?
Yeah, this is a contested. This is episode 3, the contested breakdown. Okay, yeah, technically, I hear it. Okay, you used it sparingly. All right.
Oh, so actually, the end of the beat is actually just it goes out with that.
It just
so
goes
the
out
whole
that.
thing
Okay.
fades out with that.
So you qualified. I
wasn't concerned about that.
I'm still salty producer over here. Okay. But I'm also gonna have to. So I'm doing flowers time right now. So, Piso, I liked your beat a lot, and I like that little jazz sample. Was that, you said it was a Kamasi Washington song? Was that right?
Yes, sir.
And so he's an amazing musician, and I really liked, how that beat developed. I saw I could kind of almost, in listening to it, hear the challenge that you had in going from section A to section B, where there's the halftime feel. Technically E did qualify here with the slow-mo, okay? So, and his beat was fire, and that's sexy time beat. So I gotta give flowers to E for just having a sexy beat, even though this is completely contested, but okay, E, you're up, give your flowers.
Well, I would just like to thank God, who's ahead of my life. I would just like to thank God, who's ahead of my life. And, so for me, it was pretty interesting for this challenge. It's difficult because Corey goes so ham with the vocals every damn week. And even though it's not a beat, it's not part of the beat, he cheats that way because he gives context to his production by adding, and it's like whipped cream. It's like, hey kid, do you want this cereal and milk, or do you want this cereal milk with whipped cream? Everyone's gonna pick the whipped cream every time. And so I think that it's great that you do that. Again, it takes you out of the box. It takes you out of a place where you're not really afraid to try anything musically, and I think that a lot of producers can learn from that, and in a space where it's like, okay, we're in these confines of the restriction of the beat challenge. We're in the confines of the parameters of the bar itself. And now we have confines of just you not wanting to try something different. And so with you take those restrictions off and you almost challenge them to flip them in your favor, So I'm gonna have to give my flowers to you this week.
All right.
But I'm contesting part of your flowers. I'm demanding that 1/4 of your rose petals go to your wife because she contributed to the dopeness of your beat. P.
Nah, just give her the flowers. Just give her the
just
flowers.
give her all the flowers.
All right.
But
she
P,
wins.
So so P, your beat was dope. But I know where you were going, and I don't think you got where you were going yet. And I know I know your production. I feel like you're going where you were going. But I think that had you gotten there, exactly where you were going, I think that you may have gotten all the flowers this week. Because I know your brain and I know where you were going. And I also think that since this is a challenge, I do have to say this to you. You gotta actually lay out your beat before we get in here. That way you can hear where you need to shift it at, what you need to change. Because when you're on the fly, you're in a zone.
Yeah.
And you're feeling it, but it may not be in context of what a beat would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like your bars and stuff like that are off, and you get in the zone and you get to go on this, and then once you do that, it's over.
Did he lick again? Was he licking the pads again?
He did the stand up. He did the stand up. It's different. It's a different type of flex when you're doing it live, like a live set. But when we're doing like with a challenge, I don't think that the beat structure is there, and so it eliminates some of when I'm vibing. And you switch it on me, I don't really know the rhythm of where it's switching to. So I think that would be the only thing that I would say is like, I love that you're able to do it, but I think that it hinders you in positions like this because you're not giving us enough of the beat.
I think that this might have been a different, like when he did that, the whole thing for the Whitney thing, that was sick. Like
that was
like
that
a
worked.
performance. I
That
wouldn't say to not do that again, Piso. I would say do that more. That makes it different. Because I'm gonna go completely. I'm gonna take what he said and flip it and just say maybe that would have sound like a better performance altogether if he was a little more confident with what he put together. But with the Whitney joint, that was sick. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like you get a look at a producer who is also like live DJing almost. You know what I mean?
Jive. I mean, I do love it.
Yeah.
But I think that for me to get with a beat, I think it has to be formulated in a way where you know where it's going. When you're doing it, I know you and I know how you're getting the feel and you're just in your flow. And so the flow is just like continuous and ongoing. And you get in a vibe. But as a listener or as a writer, I kind of got to feel where the beat is going. Like, where's the hook? Where's the bars? Where's this? So for me, I love both ways. But as a writer, it's difficult for me to get into that groove. And like, you normally judge the beats based on what you can write on, P. So for me, I'm just giving that little bit of critique. Like, you can still do the same thing and then go, like, do it live and then go back in and edit it. Okay, make sure it fits like a beat pattern in your mind.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like this week, it was like noticeably sloppy just because it wasn't lining up and I just didn't have time to really fix it.
I don't think it was sloppy.
Totally
I didn't
totally
dislike the beat. I don't think that it was sloppy at all. I think that if you had like a because the guy talking about the retribution, it went longer than I would have liked it to. And I think had it came back sooner, it would have changed the structure of the way I felt the beat. That's what I mean. So like when you're creating the beat, if you listen back, you're like, okay, this is going too long. But when you're live, it's difficult to determine those things. So I didn't dislike anything about the beat at all.
So I would say, so my last comment there is like, Piso, I'm loving the live stuff, but let's take everything that we're learning. Like I learned a lot, you know, every challenge forces you to kind of think of something different and take what you learned this week and apply it to the following week. So with that said, I'm loving the banter too. Okay. So here we go with the, let's keep that up. Okay. I will definitely call out in future episodes when E is clearly cheating, and I will. I will.
Listen. Let's break that down right now.
No.
I will never cheat. I will always find a way to work smarter, not harder.
Ah, okay. All right. So here we go. So a couple cool things. One is, so that was my challenge, the halftime break. And again, a lot of these things are not meant to be easy. So the fact that all of us had a difficulty this week is telling for what we're doing here on the show, trying to push ourselves to grow and learn. So we want to have everybody who's watching to participate, send us your music. You can contact us here. There it is. I don't know which hand works. Okay, that one. Okay, contact us online, whatever. Our email's there, 3bl@3beatslater.com. And then you can check us out on Instagram and Twitter. On this side of me is the challenge. This is the challenge list that we're gonna go through. I added number 4 was the one that we just did, and I took it out and put in a new one because we crossed that off the list. So the new one that's added to the list is house music. I noticed that it was not on the list already. So I think we talked about it. We had like a couple lists going around. So now that's inputted. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the wheel and we're going to pick the new challenge. So I'm gonna share my screen really quick, and this is what we're gonna do for the following week. All right. We got a spinning wheel. Last time we had just some number generator. This is a number generator, but it's in the form of a wheel. And you know, the dreaded number 5 came up a couple times last week. So we're gonna I'm gonna spin it one time, okay? And then the second time I spin it is gonna be the challenge. Everybody cool with that? We're gonna get like a practice spin.
But I do have an interjection.
Yep.
If by chance it is number 5 this time, number 5 is acceptable.
Correct.
This week.
Yeah.
We can't repeat 2 weeks in a row.
That is correct.
Sweet.
So it is in play. Number 5 is in play. I'm gonna hit spin. Everybody cool. This is the dummy spin, and then the next one is gonna be the real one. Look at this.
That's lovely.
Okay. 1. Okay, here we go. Here's the real spin. Here we go. No 5, 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 no 5. No whammies. have these memorized, so I need to stop broadcasting my screen to look at my screen to see what it is. Number 2 says, sample a Piso acapella. Interesting.
What?
Yes,
Wow.
sir.
Oh man.
Well, I didn't think this was gonna happen. Looks like I
Well,
gotta
it
get you
was
guys
on the list for 3 weeks, so I mean, how do you not think it's gonna happen?
Very funny, very
It
funny.
was right there every week, right next to Corey's head.
Okay, so yeah, I guess I gotta get you guys an acapella.
Now I have a question about this challenge.
Yeah.
Now it says remix an acapella. How does one remix an acapella? Like, are we actually making a beat? Or
I don't know.
remixing
I guess
of sound?
give you an acapella with a
I get it. I'm just
BPM.
messing with you, man. I got it.
What do you think, Kiso? What do you
But
think?
I want to. Do I have to remix it, or can I just sample you? Like, what's qualified? What qualifies?
First off, Piso, do you? I don't know. We should decide right now. Piso, what? Do you actually have acapellas of your flows at all? Or no.
I would have to ask Sosa to shoot me out one. Probably. I probably have some. I probably could find some. I probably could find some. If I look hard enough, I might find a random one, and but I'd like to choose one that I could give you guys that you really would be able to use and make something cool around. Mm-hmm. So I would have to. So unfortunately, I guess I should have had one ready to go, knowing that it was on the list. For some reason, I just never thought it would actually fit. But in that case, yeah, I would come up with a cool acapella for you guys to use. I wanted to do something new.
What if I find my own acapella OP? Can I use it?
I don't know. Does that count?
That counts. So I think, especially for people who are watching and following and want to participate in the challenge. So Piso, can you just tell us where to find your music? So if people are wanting to participate, I guess all of your music is at play. They may not have access to an acapella, but I mean, all your stuff is available online, right?
Yeah. I guess you should be able to see my name, P.SO, Earth Tone King is you just type that in, you should be able to find everything in any digital, where all digital music is being served. My music is available there. So, but I don't think I have any acapellas on those channels. It's just my music.
So then I think that both things would qualify. If we took any of your music that's available online, we can chop it up, cut it up, make a track out of it. In the meantime, Piso, if you have the ability to grab an acapella, so we could just take your vocals and do something cool with it, definitely provide that to us. So the people watching and people participating may not be able to get that access that we have. We have special access. So all of your music is kind of fair game, I would say. E sounds like he has like a hidden stash or something like that. It's always, he calls it working whatever, working smarter, not harder. That's also what I call that is hidden stashes equals another cheating. I'll put that in the cheating bucket. So
we don't have a cheating bucket. we have to agree that we're gonna have a cheating bucket. And then we're gonna have to put your vocals on every track in the cheating bucket. It's 3 beats later, not 3 hooks later.
Oh, that's not to me. It's all hooks. All hooks later.
So if we're judging beats only, you can't have audio samples inside. I won't shoot you, you don't shoot me. Let's just not be. You know what I'm saying? Now here's the thing. I will give everyone an understanding of why I said what I said. So we used to record with a guy named Derek, and Derek charged a storage fee to hold some of our songs. If he still has them, I will reach out and get a certain song that I'm looking for that I know I would love to get the acapella of. If I do get it, I will provide it to everyone so no one has a disadvantage. However, there are certain songs that I would like to sample of P that are no longer in his possession.
Wow. Yeah. That's access that P doesn't even have.
I mean, he could
Wow.
get them, but I was probably the one that paid to store them. So
Look at that.
you're gonna have to pay me for access. This week was
okay.
dope. I'm excited, man.
Yeah. So this would be fun. So
I want
Who
you
won
guys to
this
have
week,
fun
by the way?
and just make the good music. It'll be about the beat because hopefully, you guys will use these beats for something else.
Absolutely, like your next album. Since you're already on the beat. So
all right.
I just want to
Any
thank everybody for this week. It was very dope, very exciting. I forgot who won. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. But I lost a lot of weeks. So let's be real here. This is like week 3 that we're live. But we did this for like 4 weeks before, and I lost every single week. So don't feel bad for these guys. Don't feel bad for these guys.
It's true. It is true. All right, great. So this was a tough one. So next week, same time, same place, 3 beats later, we're going to do the Piso challenge, taking his music, chopping it up. Remember to shout us out, say what's up, subscribe, all that stuff. We're going to be making music every single week. We're going to be trying to challenge ourselves, learn more, send us your beats. We want to showcase some beats. We're also going to be planning to have some people coming on as guests who will also participate, or we'll be chopping up their music as well. So if you want to be a guest, if you want to be showcased, just hit us up and then we'll go from there. Piso, any last words?
I don't know what he's doing right now, but he's vibing to something.
He's getting the
either that or he's
ready.
rubbing his leg.
All right.
Hey, Pete.
What up?
Any last words for anyone? That's what Corey had said.
Oh. No.
You're really in character over there. You look like you were 3 beats later.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then let's wrap it then. All right. Good week. Peace, everybody.
Peace.